I just want to say a quick word, that for the last 4 years, I have been working on Bring Back Our Girls. The Chibok girls, almost 300 of them were abducted from their high school on April 14, 2014. So it's going to be 4 years on April 14. And that's heartbreaking because although many people believe they've been rescued, there's still 112 of those girls in captivity. The ones that have been rescued, people assume they're fine because now they're free. But trauma doesn't just disappear. And there's a lot of organizations that say they're helping to take care of them. One of the demands I have made from the beginning is that whatever kind of help is given has to be culturally appropriate, it has to be long-term, and it has to be psychosocial. And people say, what do you mean by this psychosocial? Well, people's psychological well-being is important. Their social interactions are also important. If you rescue people, you dress them up and clean them up and you bring them all over the TV to talk about their plight, it brings awareness. I am also offended by some of it because I think we have an unhealthy desire to be voyeuristic. We want to look into other people's pain. We don't sufficiently realize that when people talk about such pain, it might actually give them flashbacks. And when they have to clean up the mess that creates, we're not there. We've moved on. So many people are also surprised that I have had 5 girls in the Bronx that I have been helping that escaped from Boko Haram. You are not going to see them on TV. I don't drag them to churches. I don't make them talk about anything. I want them to focus on getting well. I want them to focus on their education. People have done that to them, and they have created problems that these girls are still living with. So you can, and we all also tend to think that when something is not on TV or in the media, it's not happening. And I have myself, I don't have any need for media. I don't have any need for recognition. I don't need anybody giving me an award. I have a vision about how we need to, our duty as human beings to other human beings like us who are experiencing difficult times in their lives. I think those people have a right to privacy. I don't go and talk about all my problems on TV, and I have a lot of them. Why should we be requiring this as a price for us to help people? So for me, what I'm doing is very different, and I am not apologetic about it. And I know that it's not as effective as when you go and open people's pain and everybody is crying, and that would get them to dip their hand in their pocket. So a lot of the financial responsibility for this, me and another woman in Lagos, Nigeria, are bearing it. And then we're looking for people who want to help these girls without any kind of drama on TV and the media. And we have successfully gotten that. It's been a journey with those girls, the 5, but they are now, I think 3 of them got their GED. We found them a private school, a private liberal arts college that they are going to go to in Pennsylvania, and they're going to start. That school will work with them to make sure that everything that they need is covered. And hopefully they will be success stories. Then they will decide, as people who are feeling powerful, how they want to share their story and what they want to do with it. But I do feel that a lot of help giving is exploitative. Now, that being said, 112 girls are still in captivity. Yesterday, you probably saw a lot of news about some girls that were rescued. That is an additional 105 to 110 girls that were abducted in almost the same kind of situation from their boarding school 1 month ago. And the news is that 5 of them died, but that news hasn't been confirmed. So majority of them have been released, and now they have to embark on the journey of taking care of their lives. The parents of these children have been under tremendous trauma because the ones whose children have been missing for almost 4 years, 19 parents have died. Many of them have high blood pressure, a lot of trauma-induced illnesses. Nobody is really taking care of them. My friend in Lagos also is doing, the best she can on that. I don't raise funds, don't get me wrong, because I'm very conflicted about the whole thing. Because people want to hear stories. So I lean on people I know and ask them to donate. I also use my own money. And luckily, my friend in Lagos is wealthier than me. So, she also is doing stuff. So I think that we need to think about, and this population, they are rural people. The reason why these girls are abducted is that the locations where they are remote from, modern life. They're in very remote locations in Nigeria. They're also children of poor people, And then there are people, homicidal, insurgent groups that want to make a point of these girls and about their, desire to stop education and all that kind of stuff. I think that the duty to make sure that people are secure in their life, in their person, and have human dignity is the responsibility of government. So for me, the Nigerian government bears the first responsibility. That you should not put children in schools and then they're afraid that people are going to come and abduct them. When they're abducted, you cannot be having all these parties for your own children's weddings that is like the royal wedding, because it sends a bad message to the people whose children are missing. You also must make sure that the kind of education your children are getting is what ordinary people's children get. That is how to develop a country. So I'm going to just stop there and say that I will not stop, because I went to school in Nigeria. My primary education, secondary education, college, bachelor's degree, I got in Nigeria. I was in boarding school. I still have majority of my family in Nigeria. They're not, and I'm a reluctant migrant. And even the process, even for me as a privileged person, being an immigrant in America has been very traumatic because you get the kind of treatment that dehumanizes you. And so I have, I form alliances with African-descended oppressed people here in the US, And those alliances, it's political, it's social, it's also in economics, how I spend my money, the people who are my friends, political causes I support, how I teach my courses, the kind of research I do. Thank you very much. So now, questions.